Oh, there we go. And we're live. Uh, Welcome to another week of actual plays with the Roll Wise podcast, I guess. I'm not really sure. Let's see here. Today, we are going to be continuing our adventures in the Mothership system. We're sorry we didn't have a chance to finish this up last week, but I was absolutely wiped out. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't make it. So needless to say, we put it off a week, and so we're going to see if we can't kill these guys this week, or get them to safety, or something that the mothership system does. So first and foremost, Brent, do we have sound? Can people hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, everything seems to be working.
Okay, perfect. That would be really fun. Just a weird talking head, no sound or anything like that. That would be a good time. So yeah. So we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, which I'm fairly sure that will be the conclusion one way or another. Um, we'll see how
That
these
sounds
guys do.
ominous.
Mothership. Mothership feels like there's a high body count. That could just be my impression. May not. We'll see. So since it's been a week, if you haven't actually seen the first stream, to kind of see how this adventure starts, because we are playing Alone in the Deep. This is uh, what is it? It's a pamphlet. It's an A4 adventure that comes out from Mothership. So it's a pretty simple premise. It's actually, you can go pick it up over on Itch, and it's been a lot of fun so far. And I really like what the Mothership community has been putting out in terms of adventures and content and everything like that. So go support other creators, as we always say. But are you guys ready to begin? Okay.
Indeed.
So to recap, we have our two players. Brent, do you want to remind people who you are playing in this short adventure?
I am playing Harold Brass, the soldier. I'm good at shooting things, and I have a dog.
Mhm.
I've tried to do some mechanical things on the ship, but I'm not super good at them. So, yep. I've currently been chewed on by a metal-eating eel.
Metal eating eel. Gotcha. And Jeff, who are you playing in this particular adventure?
I am playing Robert Haldane. I am a research scientist, uh, sophentologist, if you must know. I'm actually assisting the regular research scientist assigned to the crew. So I work as his assistant, although he seems to be missing at the moment,
Hmm,
unaccounted for.
not accounted for. That's true. So right now, just to kind of recap what's happened so far, the crew of the Rimor 89 is on a 4-week tour uh, of a sea planet where they're looking for, mineral deposits, as well as they're there to catalog interesting biological findings. The voyage had been mostly uneventful until, at one point, they could adjust the depth of their submarine. This pretty much means that right now the Remor 89 is stuck deep under the ocean. And so, what we've discovered so far is that the engines are straining, causing kind of a toxic smoke to build up in the engine room. The ballasts seem to be full of black seawater, as well as there are some of the compartments that are starting to take on water as these metal eating eels, as Brent so affectionately called them, seem to be making their way through various parts of the submarine. Um, they are little dangerous bastards, have sharp teeth, and they may be responsible for one crew member's death already. So, with that being said, I'm going to have one of you roll a dice for me. Who would like to roll a dice for me?
Looks like I rolled the last one, Brent, although that might have been an attack. That might have been you that rolled the d6. So what am I rolling, Mike?
Why don't you just roll for me I guess let's just roll a d8.
Rolling the dice. A 3.
Okay, so okay, thank you. just the ominous thank you. That's more for me than anything like that. So the immediate scene that we had right before right before we concluded last time was that you guys had, basically peeled some of these eels off of the cook, who was bleeding. Jeff had attempted to help stem some of the blood and use some of the med kit stuff and everything like that. Um, kind of did a little bit of a job, but right now I guess you three are in the galley, mostly seeing to each other's wounds, while of course the captain is in navigation, trying to keep the submarine operational afloat and kind of monitoring the systems there. So I guess with that being said, what do you guys do next?
We've got to fill in the captain, right? Like patch up the cook, fill in the captain.
Yeah, I think I was patching up the cook.
I think Jeff was cutting the cook. Maybe you were patching up the cook.
I was trying to stab the eel. I just happened to miss.
That's true.
Oh yeah, and I threw the bodies down the trash
Yeah.
chute. All the bodies. So I'll help the cook, and you can go inform the captain.
Okay. I will talk to the captain, who's
Okay.
probably up to his eyeballs trying to keep the sub floating.
Oh, captain, my captain.
So I'll go from the galley to navigation, Mike.
All right. So as a reminder for people that may not have seen this the first time, the navigation room in this submarine is actually a little bit different than your typical subs, because not only is it that kind of cassette futurism, think a la Aliens and all that kind of stuff, but it does have a massive glass viewport which stares out into the ocean depths. You can see the captain, who's pretty much in his chair, surrounded by various panels and everything like that. And since the last time that you've been into the navigation room, it seems like there's more blinking lights than you recall ever seeing. The lights tend to be various, shades of yellow, orange, red, those kind of things. And you can see him kind of furiously kind of trying to figure out which ones are which, and he actually seems to have pulled out some documentation that he seems to be cross-referencing and everything like that. The technical manual, if you will.
Oh, good. He's reading the manual. What kind of a captain is this guy?
Well,
obviously the turn it on and turn it off kind.
Did you turn it off and turn it on again?
Turn it off, turn it back on again.
Could be.
I make my report. We have a sample outside of containment. We believe that it's these eels.
No,
that attacked.
I think you might. I think Mike said that these for sure aren't the sample that you had last time. I think wasn't that it, Mike? These eels are for sure not the thing that was in the sample. I thought you made a point of saying that last time. That these were unrecognizable to Jeff, that he didn't know what they were.
Well, he didn't. Well, Jeff had never seen them, but there were samples that Dr. Kapowski had kept from Jeff, and that's why he had asked Jeff.
I thought I had read his logs, though. Like they
did read
the description of the.
And that's these things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I feel like was. I thought that was unclear last time, but now it makes sense.
So the doctor's still missing, Captain. I know there was no signs of him in the lab. It's possible these creatures ate him, but I didn't see any signs of blood or anything. My guess is that the creatures have some sort of intelligence. Can I use my sophentology skill? Like what would I know about these creatures from what I have observed as somebody who studies intelligent life?
So I guess,
but they're not.
So can you remind me which scenes you've actually seen the creatures in action?
Well, I saw them in the armory when they were attacking my partner. I saw them swimming around in electrical, but that probably didn't help me much. I did read whatever notes the doctor had, and then we had the galley fight.
Okay.
Yeah, so he saw one attack me, and then he tried to step on it a bunch of times. Then he saw the two on old Bjorn.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw the weirdness with the dude's body before we threw it down the trash chute.
Okay.
Also, body horror warning, monsters, etc., blood, gore, violence, etc.
Damn,
Yes.
you're right.
And then he read the doctor's notes.
Okay. So based on what you've read on them so far and everything like that, most of the information that Dr. Pautsky seems to have accumulated seem to be on like their life cycles, as well as just random observations that he had made. Kind of just to get an idea as to what he was learning about this creature
Sure.
that he has. Um, you know, he seems to believe that these creatures, they're one of they're not necessarily unlike other creatures that you've seen on other planets or anything like that, but he has kind of come to the conclusion that they are very much more parasitic in origin or parasitic in behavior than, say, like a traditional eel would be back, that we're familiar with. Um, Also, that there is a significant risk that these eels can infest a variety of creature types and everything like that, if you're not careful. No roll required to get that information.
Okay. Would I believe them to be intelligent, able to, learn?
Well, not maybe. They definitely, at least from his notes would indicate that their intelligence follows the same type of cycle as other parasites, in so much as that they will infest a host, control that host until they create a situation in which that host is primed for the propagation of said parasite.
Okay. So yeah,
So they're not doing astrophysics from what he could determine, though. That
okay.
makes sense.
No, I get that. Yeah. So I tell the captain, we have to surface. We don't know how many of these things there are, but there are multiples, based on what we've encountered, and we've already destroyed some, but my belief is that there's more.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can eat through metal, they can come at us from any direction or pierce the side of the sub. So even if it's dangerous, we need to surface.
Okay. And so what's does so you're telling the captain this, and the captain is a man of is a man of very few words. He's a little stressed out right now. How does the captain typically address you? Does he address you as just Dr.
Probably not
Haldane?
very highly, because I'm not he probably has no idea of my full background. But I'm just the assistant to, the doctor, who's probably a pain in his ass. So I'm probably a bigger pain in his ass because the doctor makes me do the pain in the ass stuff.
That's funny. Okay,
So I probably come across as aloof and snooty and all the things that he fucking hates in a human being.
okay, so what you're saying is that he calls you what, Bill? Or
It
no,
would be
Bob?
He probably
Bob.
calls me Bob.
He's like, okay, well, Bob, I'll give you kind of the rundown of the situation right now. And he takes his eyes off the panel, just kind of ignores it entirely, looks directly at you. He's like, well, this submarine has two types of ballasts. We have a trim, and we have our main ballast tank. Right now, the trim seems to be functioning fine, but the main ballast being full of water means we're not doing much of the up and down thing. Unless you can somehow manage to find a way to take a bicycle pump and basically surface a car with it. That'd be about the same if you wanted to do it that way. So we got to find a way to fix our ballast tanks, or else we're pretty much stuck here until we're no longer stuck here. So I guess what that means is, if sounds like based on your report, it sounds like the other two are occupied right now. You're going to have to go do a manual inspection on that ballast tank and see what you can figure out. See if there's something that we can patch up. We have patch plates and everything like that. They're magnetic, so even a intelligent man such as yourself should be able to figure this out.
Yeah, I looked in there once. That water was dark. There's something wrong with it. I couldn't see even with the flashlight a foot into the water, other than I could tell that it was much higher than it's supposed to be.
He like, he kind of like looks over at the big glass panel and he's like, yeah, we're deep underwater. It's going to be dark, but you're going to have to overcome that fear. I think we even have a suit over in the engine room that you can wear. That should at least allow you to keep, it's kind of like a scuba suit, I guess.
Okay. I'll leave you to your blinking lights and the one lever.
He's got one lever, just like, oh, too far, too little, too far, too little. Is that how you imagine the captain to be?
I would imagine I'm a little sarcastic and insulting to him. So yes.
Sure. Okay.
So that's 2 crew members who basically told him to F off.
Yeah, it's a. You know,
And people thought
if there wasn't somebody who helped me and a dog, I literally would go straight to the escape craft at this point. In fact, I'm going to go check out and make sure that the escape craft, before I go to do the engine thing, I'm going to make sure the escape craft looks functional.
Okay. From what you can tell, there's lights and everything like that kind of indicate the status of the escape craft. Status says okay. It's got a little tag indicating that the last time that the submarine was serviced, that the escape craft was serviced as well. So it checked out.
Okay.
All systems look green.
It doesn't appear that the door's not. I don't know how the escape craft, like, is there a hatch that's open and closed?
There is a hatch. Basically, in this case, there's a manual like turning thing that you have to do in order to unlock it and unseal it.
I'm gonna unseal it and make sure nobody's in there, just to check for Kapowski.
Okay. So opening up the craft door, pretty much like you have to spin it, it unlocks it, it opens, and then of course there's the hatch that leads to the escape craft and everything like that as well. So let's see. All right. So as you open up the next door, basically you see into the escape craft. It is a tight fit. There's like, what you can see is that there are 2 very narrow chairs. On the wall you see kind of like a small area that looks kind of like pockets for storage and everything like that. As well as you can see that inside the craft there are a couple tanks for oxygen. However, after kind of looking at it, you do see that some of the things that because each of the things look like they're labeled. It looks like the pack where it says rations. It looks as though like a rat has chewed into it.
All right. That makes me think eel almost immediately.
Okay.
If I talk on the intercom, does everybody hear it, or can like room to room?
You can.
Intercom
But
the galley.
we're gonna resolve this eel situation first.
Okay.
So basically, these things seem to be quite fast and springy. We're gonna go ahead and roll a speed check.
Speed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, the creature's in trouble because. Oh yeah, 36, no problem. Let's go.
Is that
a
D100? Yeah. Oh, you didn't roll yet?
No, I definitely rolled that 3 that you see on the screen, Mike. I'm kidding.
For the 1d8?
Yes, 82.
Okay. So this is kind of not a great situation for you. It's not a very big one. But you see it kind of like, how when you see things kind of like, it kind of pokes out but then it slithers at a speed that you would not have expected it, kind of using the wall and then almost like leaping over to your shoulder. And before you even have a chance to react, kind of does one of these businesses and just into your ear it goes. An immense amount of pain follows that. And so because you failed the roll, you do take a stress.
All right. I'm up to 3.
Yeah. An immense amount of pain happens as you basically feel it like going straight into your head. But kind of like leeches, you know how it like starts painful? It kind of numbs fairly quickly. But there is no little dangly bit on the outside. So, what would you like to do?
Well, I have a scalpel, but jamming that into my ear doesn't seem. Is there alcohol in the armory? Is the only alcohol in the galley?
Well, there is so from like a medical perspective, you know, there are med kits dotted throughout the ship. So, I mean, the med kit that you used up in the galley and sleeping
Yeah, I
quarters
would.
and everything like
I
that.
would. I would see if there's anything in the med kit in the armory that can help me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you find some alcohol. Let me go ahead.
Like
That's
rubbing.
okay. And what are you planning on doing with the alcohol?
There's rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, basically, it's alcohol that would be used as a disinfectant.
I'm gonna try to pour it into my ear.
Okay. Um, it hurts.
I understand that it might hurt me, but I'm also hoping that it, hurts the creature.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I mean, you just kind of like tip your head to the side and
Yeah.
just pour that. Yeah. I mean I mean, you're not really sure if it's doing anything. I mean, other than, of course, it's the feeling of pouring alcohol onto an open wound. Um, do you just pour it and wait, or what do you do there?
Yeah, I probably, continue to lean, try and see if I can, feel it going in. It probably doesn't feel good, but
Okay. So, needless to say, you're standing there pouring alcohol into your ear. It's painful. We're gonna go over to Brent and see what Brent's up to. So, Brent, you were there to try to patch up old Bjorn, correct?
Yeah, which I think we did last week. We rolled for
Mhm.
last week
Yeah,
after we
pretty much. I
cleaned
mean,
everything up.
at this point, you're just kind of slapping him like the top of a car, and you're like, good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So,
what are you going to do?
I mean, nothing right now. I'm kind of waiting for him to come back to tell me what the plan is.
Okay. You're
So
talking about
I'm just hanging out with Bjorn for now.
okay. You're talking about Bob. See what his
Yeah.
plan is. Okay. Well, Bjorn is, obviously he's a little bit shaken at at the recent occurrence of these crazy little eel monsters and everything like that. So let's go back to Jeff. So Jeff, you don't feel like pouring the alcohol in your ear was enough to really, it didn't seem like it did enough to kill it that you're aware of. You don't feel it like trying to escape out or anything like that. Um, you're not sure if you might need something more manual in order to do that. Maybe some forceps might work. Scalpel. I mean, you could try a scalpel if you want to. Um, but you also know that you do have some medical supplies, maybe a little bit higher caliber than med kits in the labs, just for your study of the biological specimens and everything like that. So there might be some stuff in there too that you could use.
in the lab.
Hmm
Yeah,
But you also
I'm gonna get on the intercom and probably shout all of this in about 4.5 seconds at Brass in the galley.
Okay.
The captain sent me to do the ballast tank, and I checked on the escape craft to make sure it was still working. And one of the ELs, jumped into my ear, and I'm heading for the lab now. But we've got to get the ballast tank fixed, so I may need some help.
All right, so I will meet you in the lab. I mean, I'll meet you in the armory, and we'll head to the lab together. How's that?
Yeah.
And where's the suit?
The suit's in the engine room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, I probably shouted. I'm panicking a little bit.
Yeah, so let's head to the lab, and I'll see if I can help you get the thing out of. See if we can get the thing out of your ear, and then I'll get in the suit and I'll go see if I can patch up the ballast.
Okay.
All right.
So, what are you telling old Bjorn to do at this case? Do you just like give Bart to Bjorn and say like stay?
Yeah,
To both
pretty
of them,
much.
or-
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Bjorn, says he'll take care of the dog. He knows what he has to do.
I tell him you better, and then we head out.
Sure. You pass obviously the captain who is focused on his dials and doodads. And do you guys head together to the electrical or?
Mhm.
Okay. You see at this point that the electrical is filled with enough water that it's getting up high that you're concerned that it's going to kind of start breaching hatches and stuff like that. So if there is if you guys, this would be a room that could use some TLC. Otherwise, you may have to seal it at some point to prevent.
Well, I mean, there
water.
should be those doors at every entrance, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the ones that you
so-
can close, and because everything can be closed off compartmentally and everything like that. That's
Yeah,
true.
we should. Did you grab any weapons? We should seal off the armory and then have the forward part of the boat from the electrical room and the engines and the lab and the ballast tank.
But I mean, we would be like every time we enter one, we would be sealing it off. Like we would close the door and lock it.
Okay.
We could.
Like
I mean,
that's how they're made. Is they usually have a hatch that you open and close in every part of the sub for this very reason.
well, they have them, but I don't think necessarily they're always closed. I'm not a submarine person. The little research I saw that suggests that they do have these types of hatches so they can close.
And yes, I have the handgun. So yeah, we'll go on the electric corridor and then we'll close the hatch. Go to the other end, open, and then close the hatch.
Okay. Sounds good. So getting to the engines, you see that the smoke is definitely thickened up quite a bit, and it hangs kind of at the point where you need to duck to get under the smoke within the engine room. Obviously, trying to breathe it in is not the wisest idea, since the smoke caused by shorting wires and stuff like that. But now getting to the lab, you say?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. How many minutes would that take? No, not very many minutes. Let's go ahead and when you get inside the lab, what are your guys' plans to kind of help Jeff here?
Get some sort of, like you said, forceps and see if I can, and a flashlight and see if I can pull it out.
Okay. Ooh. So kind of I wonder if this would be a good time for a panic check. When to make panic checks? When you, the player, want. Do you want to make a panic check?
If he can't get it out, I definitely do.
Okay. So in this case, basically getting in there, I mean, the lab itself, like I said, it's not like a med bay per se, but it does have medical tools, to study biology and everything like that, as per Dr. Koposki's specialty. So you do find some fairly advanced type tools that you can definitely use. You're going to find something to kind of probe into Jeff's head. And
Oh yeah, into his ear canal.
okay. So what kind of role makes sense for this, do you think?
Well, nothing I have, so
Combat?
Yeah,
You
that's
think
true.
combat?
Probably nothing.
I mean, field medicine is an expert skill, but I don't have that, so it would probably be intellect.
Let's see. What's the good? So let's see. Strength, holding airlocks closed, speed, getting out of the cargo bay, acting before somebody else. Intellect is recalling your training and experience under duress, thinking through difficult problems, inventing or fixing things, and combat is fighting for your life. I'm actually thinking a speed check might be more appropriate.
I'm
based
fighting it in his ear.
What?
I'm fighting it in his ear.
I mean, basically, the way I would imagine it, and tell me if you agree, is you're kind of using your dexterity and nimbleness to try to dig around and try to grab onto something in there. Does that
Sure.
sound fair?
Sure, whatever.
Okay.
It's your call. It's better than my intelligence, so it's not that good though.
Ouch. It gets bloody quick, Brent, as you're digging around with the forceps in there. Now, as the as you're doing this, I think that the hardest part to imagine is like, are you doing this with any kind of gentleness, or are you doing this with are you just like
No, I'm
trying to get
just
this?
stabbing him in the ear. Of course, I'm trying to pull it out without hurting him.
Okay. Well, let's say in this particular case, you do grab, like you go in there and you think you've got a good hold on the eel. You think you've got it. But I think in this case,
But it's
it
his
seems
eardrum.
like, what's that?
It's his eardrum.
I was assuming
No.
the eel blitzed that when it went through.
I think in this particular case, you probably would get it, but I think that it would fight, or kind of like to stand there. You guys ever seen those bot fly removals, which are
I have
super
not,
gross?
and I
Usually
probably
those aren't
never
done.
will.
These aren't usually done with force. I mean, they are done with forceps after they make them come out
Mhm.
by like putting Vaseline over them so they can't breathe.
Yeah, did you
Yep.
see Agile Monk had a suggestion? Take a match, light it, and then blow it out, and carefully put it in the ear on the eel, and it'll get it to move.
We don't want it to go deeper either. That would
In the
probably
eel.
be the better method is the needle method, but my character's not a doctor, so
Right.
So, needless to say, you do manage to grip it, but your lack of really any medical training other than how to knock people out or fist fight them or whatever it may be, shoot them, really isn't paying you any spades here. So you manage to like dig around. Jeff, this is incredibly painful, by the way.
Yeah, I'm screaming.
And he manages to grab it. And you can tell that this thing is like flexing its body and fins in ways to kind of prevent it from being pulled out. So it kind of looks like it kind of looks like, as Brent is pulling this thing out, like its body seems to be kind of almost stretching, kind of like a gummy worm outside of it a little bit. It's kind of slug-like skin stretching as it comes through. Jeff, I think you're going to take 1d10 points of damage. Could you roll that for me?
A D10. That's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
damage. 1.
Apparently, it wasn't moving that hard
Just saying.
for science. So in this particular case,
well, when you make it a random number.
1.
Oh, hey, it is a gummy worm. You just had a gummy worm stuck in your ear. I got
It's
it.
just a gummy worm.
Why are you putting gummy
Yeah.
worms in your ear? That's weird.
Yeah, what made the gummy worm jump out of the ration pack?
As soon as whatever happened, do I actually get it out, or does it stay in his ear?
You get it out, but it is bloody, and just as soon as you pull it out, like blood just starts coming down his ear.
Yeah, I put some some gauze in his ear, and I say it's probably better than it crawling into your brain, like whatever it did to Ivan.
No, I agree, but I'm just like holding my ear, rocking and moaning at this point.
Also, I am going to give you one stress point too.
I took a stress for
I'm
failing.
I'm up to 4.
Okay. Yeah. So before you
I am up
guys
to
have that cute
5.
banter, you do have an angry.
Yeah, I
angry
put it
orange
in one of
lock on your
the.
forceps.
I put it in one of the specimen jars, like dip it
Okay.
in formaldehyde, and
Okay. So
close it.
you seal it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Being as though this is a solution to preserve creatures, it kind of goes inert. You cannot really tell if that's dead or just not moving. And that's after a few seconds of thrashing.
And then I
Oh,
hand
you're
it to
lucky.
you. I go, here.
Jesus Christ. That's what I said. No, that's in character. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
I need to go get the suit on now.
And we need to get the magnetic plates.
Yeah. So that's what we
in case
do.
there's some sort of a breach in the ballast tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the engine room, you basically see, like near this suit and everything like that. And every room has a small amount of repair, a small amount of like emergency patch repair type stuff, just so it's kind of
Sure.
in the place that you need it. You're not exactly sure, how much you need or anything like that, but putting on the suit allows you to at least go into the ballast tank and everything like that.
I have athletics, so I at least can swim. So yeah, I put the suit on, and then I'll go swim in the ballast tanks.
Okay.
And I will have a light, at the thing, and like if he's got to come back to get the plates, the magnetic plates, so he doesn't have to carry them all, I'll hand him the
Okay.
plates.
Yeah. So donning the
Assuming that
suit and
there's
everything
not
like that.
eel eggs in my brain.
What's that?
Huh? Nothing. Let's go.
What do you? You're trying
I mean,
to
even
give
if
me-
there is, it's a little late.
Yeah, I said it while I wait for the eel eggs in my brain to
Gestate.
That's true. I did see chat, and did you know that ballast tanks can go unstable and actually have an implosive effects? It tends to be very bad when that happens. It's a good idea. Thanks, Agile.
Yeah, implosions aren't great underwater.
Okay, so
High pressure hull breaches are a problem.
yeah, it can be pretty
submarine.
bad.
Indeed. War in space,
So-
really. I mean, anywhere you might have an enclosed tank.
Let me take a look at one thing real quick here. All right. Brent, can you roll a D8 for me?
Sure. Second. D8. I did not roll well.
Okay. Thank you. So Brent, as soon as you don the environmental suit and everything like that, and climb down the ladder into the ballast tank, like how are you? Like, what is your approach to going into the ballast tank and everything like that to avoid apparently potentially implosive forces?
I mean, you can open he already opened the tank, so I just open the tank, go in. Like,
Okay.
that's if he can look in it, I could go just crawl down in there.
I know. I should research this implosive forces for next time. Okay, so the tank itself is pitch black. As we discussed before, it's the maintenance ladder.
Are there
it's
lights on
rusty.
is there not a light on the suit, like a headlamp on the suit?
There's a light on the suit for
Okay.
for your so you can see and everything like that. And you can see as you kind of like dip into the tank is that you can like almost immediately see a few puncture holes that should not be there. They look like they're additions rather than pre-existing.
Well, the word puncture sort of implies that they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah. And so as you kind of look around and you're kind of scanning to see, it doesn't take you but a moment of scanning to see what looks like a large vibrating boil, covered in scales, small barnacles, and a few other of those sea-like things. And as it kind of suspended in the ballast tank, you do happen to see, and you recognize about 3/4 of Dr. Kapotsky's face. So I think this might be a good time for a panic check. What do you think, Brent?
Sure.
Okay, what is a panic check? So those people that haven't played Mothership, a panic check determines whether the character can keep their cool under extreme pressure. To make a panic check, you roll a panic die, which is the d20, and attempt to roll greater than your current stress. If you roll less than or equal to your current stress, you fail, and you look up the result on your panic table.
I roll greater than my stress. I'm fine.
Okay.
I have a 5 for stress right now.
Yeah, I know. It's getting kind of high. Okay. So you managed to, kind of keep it in, especially being that you're the Marine and everything like that. You keep cool, even though this thing is terrifying. Within the boil, the pustule looking thing, which you're not sure if that is actually just like Dr. Kapotsky blown up or what exactly the deal is there. But it is gross. You do see kind of a wiggling tail kind of protrude out and then kind of go back into one of the orifices.
Is there a spear gun on the ship?
Spear gun.
Or anything like, because I can't shoot this. The gun won't shoot down here, and I'm not going to go poke it with my knife.
No, but you could probably find a way to create some makeshift weapon of some sort.
Okay, I'm going to go back into the engineering room.
Okay. So in this case,
so I'm gonna go back up. I'm gonna shut off the tank and everything, the breather tank, and tell him. Wait. Oh, okay. Well, before I go back up, let me think. How big is the thing? Like, is it filling up the ballast tank?
That's a good question. So how big is the thing? Based on what you could tell, it looks like it's probably man-sized, and in fact, it's probably a little bit bigger than Kapotsky's size. But since it's kind of a boil, it's kind of blown up like a ball instead of more like a human shape.
Right, but it's not. It's just floating in there. It's not taking up a bunch of the. Okay, so I thought it was filling the ballast tank, which would be a bigger problem. How many holes are there?
You counted at least 4. A quick count.
Do they each take one? Are they too big to take one plate, or do they take multiple plates?
So in this case, the holes look like they're probably about the size of the eel, so they're each one of those would be just one magnetic plate.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to avoid Karpatsky and do the plates.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna go back in.
No, I never got out. I retroed that. I didn't get out because I was trying to figure out how big he was before I got out.
Yeah, if he comes back over to the thing and like holds up 2 fingers, I'll give him 2 plates. Or
Yeah, so that's what I'll do. Is we'll do that.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just make sure I've read this correctly. Okay, sounds good. So yeah, so all right, you go to get 2 plates or whatever you.
Yeah, I'll do the 2 holes furthest from Kropotski first, towards the front.
Okay. So as you as you're taking it, I like this is delicate work, but you basically like push it, and then the magnets automatically suck the plate in. Jeff, you can actually kind of that hum, like the dong, kind of reverberates a little bit as it locks in really tight to prevent any water from going in and out. Also, Jeff, as you're kind of like, are you like, what are you doing there? You're just kind of like holding a bandage to your ear, and you're kind of handing metal plates down.
and staring down into the water.
Okay.
I'm probably pretty focused on that, unless I hear something from my good ear, in the engine room. But
Okay. Well, you do hear something from your good ear. It happens to be a kind of like a splash, and then like how when you like drop a cup of water on the floor and it kind of like rushes out over the floor. You're kind of like a pop, and then all of a sudden you see a kind of an oily liquid just cover the floor.
I would turn towards wherever it's coming from and try to ascertain what's going on.
You can't see exactly where it comes from, but you do see that it came from over on the engine side. It's hard to tell if it was the engine straining so much or something else.
Like, does it smell like oil? Like, is it
It
like
does.
engine oil?
Looks like slippery, good old fashioned lubricating oil.
Okay. I just shake my head and God damn it, he's straining the engines too hard. Is there an intercom, I'm assuming, by the door,
Mhm.
like to the electrical panel?
Yeah, you could probably do that.
Yeah, I'm going to call to the captain. Captain Brass is patching the holes in the ballast tank, but we got problems in the engine room. There's oil all over the floor. I think one of the engines just blew.
You hear him respond with a explicative. Whatever colorful sailor-like explicative somebody would say. Safe for YouTube, obviously, right now. But and he says,
fudge.
I'll try to I'll try to
Gosh darn.
He says, gosh darn, I'll try to not push the engine so hard, but way more colorfully. And of course the intercom, like you get his response kind of cuts off as he clicks off the talk button.
Okay. Now I go back to assist Brass to get out of the
Oh, I need 2 more
tank
plates.
if you're back, I hand you 2 more
Okay.
plates then.
The second plate, kind of goes into that same. Boom. All right. So for that next set of plates, you're gonna have to go kind of close to the big boil looking thing. In this case, are you gonna try to do it quietly? Like, what is your approach as you have to go closer to it?
I'm just going to try and do it as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way to quietly swim past him.
Okay.
I don't think stealth swimming is a thing.
Isn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, alligators seem pretty stealthy, but that's just me. Okay, so you go get 2 more plates. And how do I say it? You also can, as obviously as you get the plates and everything like that, you head back down, and the you're going by this big vial looking thing, and you find that hole and you put that next plate down. Snaps into place. And this last one, let's go ahead and because it seems like it's really close to that hive there. Could you roll for me to see if you can make it by the hive without having any problems? Just a speed check would be great.
Speed plus athletic. Can I use my athletic skill?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think so. Athletics is physical fitness, sports, and games. Yeah, you can go ahead and add your athletic skill to that.
All right.
Drowning in dragons.
I still failed. I have
Okay.
a 40. I rolled a 49.
All right. So you just like barrel in to go put this last patch on, and you just boom, and it seems like you kind of in your speed you didn't restrain it as much as you had on the other one, so it was a loud crash when you did that. Out of, let's just see, can you go ahead and roll for me 2d4.
1 second. 2d4.
Okay.
I rolled a 7.
Okay. So, you basically look back and see that from that giant, bulbous, massive, scaly flesh, barnacles, and all that kind of stuff, some of the eels have come to swim out to investigate. And it doesn't seem like it took them very long to kind of realize you were not there before, but you are there now. So, what are you going to do?
Swim back to the ladder as fast as possible.
Okay. 1 second here. So you're going to swim. They're going to attack. Okay. So I think that would be another athletics check, wouldn't it?
Can I use athletics plus combat since I'm trying to avoid them?
Yeah, I think so. Fight for your life.
Okay, so that's the 60.
Let's go. You got this.
Yeah, I made it.
Okay. Well, so basically, it seems as though you're able to find a way to, and maybe it's the fact of the suit just provides enough cover for you, but you pretty much, it seems like you just kind of jujitsu this. I mean, how do you just can you describe yourself and how you escape from these several eels trying to make their way into your nice supple flesh?
Like I said, I'm really just swimming as fast as possible away from them. Like
Okay.
kicking at them when I can with my legs, just trying to propel myself as fast as possible. I'm fairly athletic, so I'm just trying to do it fast.
Okay.
The fins on the suit help.
All right. Okay, so let's see what I have on my side here. One thing I guess I'm a little bit confused by is the dice. Because basically they're still going to try to attack you, and I believe when it's an NPC, it's just they use their instinct number to try to attack you. But let me just double check that. Boop, boop, boom. I'm sorry. I apologize. Do you guys want to make some fun jokes for everybody while I try to clarify this part?
Fun jokes. I don't know if I have any fun ones. Yeah, I'm just.
I didn't think you rolled. I didn't think you rolled to attack. I thought that was in whether our combat attacks failed. Is that not this game?
I'm just trying to. That's what I'm just trying to see because there was. I didn't think there was.
I think if I failed, they would have done damage, but because I didn't fail, they don't do damage and I get away. I think. I mean, that's an advantageous decision for me, but I think that's how the rules work.
Oh, so instinct is a catch-all stat for fear, sanity, body speed, intellect, and everything else. Okay, that makes sense. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something because I've read 3 RPGs in the last week, so I'm trying not to confuse everything. And if anybody's curious, the RPGs we're looking at are Inevitable and The Electric State. So good bench of RPGs to be looking at, but obviously it's gotten me rules confused, as even though this is a light game, not exactly the hugest book or anything like that, it is a little jumbled in my brain. So, welcome to Drunken Dragons. No, that would be an amazing channel to have. I feel like at least Jeff is living up to the moniker pretty well. I don't know if everybody can see his thing, but that's okay. Yeah, so you find that you're able to swim away from the eels who are kind of nipping at your heels effectively, and you kind of climb up the ladder. You can tell that even though you were successful in preventing them from doing anything, but you can tell that the razor sharp teeth on these were able to kind of nap and scratch and do some superficial damage to the suit before you were able to make it out of the water. Fortunately for you, there was nothing more that happened than that.
Right.
And so while that's happening, Jeff.
Yes.
You said you were focused on Brent, correct?
Yes. Because
Okay.
I heard the last magnet snap into place, and so I'm expecting him to need some assistance getting out of the hatch.
Could you roll for me a speed check?
Oh, I did so good on the last one. I don't even
This is
know
where
why
the
I would need to do another one.
whole room is just going to start on fire.
Oh yeah, 85. That was
Ouch.
that was actually worse than the last one because the last one was an 82.
Okay,
I don't think I think I've only made one D100 check in 2 sessions.
That's the hard part about Mothership is that if you're rolling dice, that's usually at your disadvantage.
Bad thing, sure. Yeah.
And so basically, like what seems to happen, and this is quite quick as it happens, is that as you're focused on like whatever Brent could possibly need, another one of these eels just basically like climbs up your leg, gets into your coveralls, and makes its way up, and then goes right into your mouth.
Well, obviously, I instinctually bite down.
It does taste like engine oil as it slimes in. So you do feel the natural reaction that one would have when trying to drink engine oil. So
I'm gonna roll with it and try to puke.
Yeah. So you start gagging and trying to puke, and it is a really rough time. Thanks, Agile. That is a rough way to get your a protein. It's a little, but I mean, I've never had a tapeworm, fortunately enough, but you could feel it winding down your throat like immediately. And I mean, I don't know like how it feels, but it feels like as soon as it got into
well, that's belly, that really is nothing like a tapeworm. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm just trying to imagine like a long thing inside your body.
Mike, when I bit down, I didn't get any part of it.
Well, you can roll a combat for me.
And then there's the body
Oh,
rejection
good
part.
combat. That's gonna be awesome. Oh wait, combat's only 2 worse than speed. It's not like I've been missing by 2. I've been missing by 50. That's a 6.
Oh, great. So you bite down as it goes in, like just reflexively. You bite down, and even though part of it continues its journey, you basically now have the taste of motor oil, and alien ichor in your mouth.
Yeah, I'm still trying to throw up and still clench my teeth. How exactly that works, I don't know. If I can reach into my mouth to try to get a hold of it, I'm going to try to do that and try to pull it out.
Okay. Sure. So at this point, you've got this parasite who's working its way down. Your gag reflexes.
Roll for choking to death.
Your gag reflex may be the thing that's saving you, I guess. I'm not really sure.
It could be.
But tell me, so how exactly are you trying to get this out here?
I'm fishing fingers, like into my mouth and clenching my jaw, and if I can get a hold of it, I'm stretching it, whatever I have to, and then getting it with the other hand. If I get a hold of it and I feel it's a good enough grip, I'll obviously unlock my jaw.
Okay.
Sure. To try to pull it out.
Let's see. What would this be under? Why don't you roll for me a... why don't you roll? What do you think would be best here? Do you think this would be a strength check? You basically out trying to strong it, like as it tries to.
It's probably a strength check. If it's either strength or combat.
Strength seems to make maybe a little more sense to me, but
okay. Here we go. Oh, good. We're back to 85. Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's coated in oil, dude.
Yeah, it's hard to grip, and in fact, that might have been
it tore part of its body ripped. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been a good one to roll with disadvantage, but I feel like I'd be torching you at that point. So basically, what seems
disadvantage
to happen,
on a 24 out of a 28. Sorry.
Out of curiosity, if you rolled again, would you get a critical failure? That would be.
Jesus.
That just feels mean.
No, I got a 40 the second time. So yeah, the 85 would have stood with disadvantage.
Do you want to go over to his house and slap him in the face too, Jeff? Or Mike?
I still feel like I'm winning this scenario well enough.
Poke him in the eye a little. Would that make you feel better?
Hey man, they're crafty. They're crafty creatures. I get it. I tried, man. I got a hold of it. I chomped down on it. I started pulling it out, and it,
Yeah, you did all. Well, I mean, you did all you could, really.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to be able to get that one with forceps, unfortunately.
So in this particular case, what I'm going to say happened is that you knowing kind of like where you're at, you're kind of in a deadlock with this thing. The one thing I'm going to say is that, and so in this particular case, by biting into it and basically like biting in and everything like that, you still have it, even though its grip is there. Basically, your instinct to kind of pull on it wasn't enough that you like released it fully. You kind of realized you were slipping and kind of bit it. So it's basically, you have this really weird kind of gentle, hard bite on this slimy eel thing that tastes like motor oil and ichor, and and you don't really have the ability to pull it out. Because you get a thing there. I think this is. Do you think this is panic worthy at this point?
Yeah, no, I
Or
think this is panic worthy.
okay. Well, why don't you roll for me a panic check, a D20?
No, it was panic worthy like 3 minutes ago.
So yeah, so what do I roll? Okay, I've never
A
rolled
D-
a panic check.
So it's
D20
D20.
and you have to roll under your stress number. If you
I have to
roll
roll
under if you roll under your stress number, you fail. If you roll over your
Okay.
stress number, you succeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you roll less to or
D20.
equal to your current stress.
That was closer than I would like to admit, but I did make it.
Oh,
It's a 6 to a 4.
Yeah, mine was 7 to a 5, so we're very close.
Yeah, rolling great tonight. Just great.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you that like it doesn't like you're not 100% sure what's happening, but you feel like, how do I say this? You feel like even though you passed your panic chest, you feel like anxiety building in your chest, in a way that's a little bit weird, because it feels like now, because the ichor and the motor oil and everything like that, it is this sense of suffocation, because you're kind of in deadlock with this thing.
I do have one thing to say. How many rolls have you failed? Have you been adding stress every time you failed a roll?
Oh no.
Oh, did Jeff panic?
Well,
I would have panicked then.
you just failed two other rolls, right?
Yeah, no, I was not adding a stress every time I failed a roll. I screwed that up. That's me. Sorry.
Well, the only reason that I mentioned it is because like I have 6, and I don't think I've rolled as much as you have.
Yeah, Jeff has had a hard night.
He has that hard night.
Yeah, I just added 3 more, Mike. I have 7, so I failed. My 6 failed. Okay.
Oh, even more interesting. So roll it.
And we get to test out. Yeah, we get to test out the mechanics.
So yeah, what am I doing now?
You're rolling the panic effect. The panic effect. This chart right here, tells you when you roll a D20. I'm only out for him because he's just the one. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm just the right guy in the wrong place. I get that. That part's fine.
There's only 2 people, so the Eye of Sauron has to be one.
Yeah. There's nothing personal. I get it. I'm not worried about that. It's Mothership, man. I've played Mothership before. I just haven't done everything in it. So
it's testing the mechanics of the game. We're running it through its paces.
Right, so I failed my panic check. I have to roll on a panic table, or you're rolling on a panic table? 1d20. All right, let's go. 12.
You become haunted. That's an interesting panic effect.
I'm haunted. Haunted by what? The feeling of a oily alien sliding down my throat?
Yeah, so you gain a new condition. So you gain I can't tell if you gain the condition haunted, but it says
you probably never want to go on a submarine after this again. So
I probably never want to eat sushi.
Or that.
Or maybe anything. Noodles.
Wait, should I read them?
Well, yeah, you should.
Okay, so basically you're haunted, you gain a new condition, something starts visiting the character at night. In their dreams, out of the corner of their eye, and it may start making demands. So this is definitely leaving a psychological impact on you in one way or the other. I can see that,
yeah.
So
Haldane can see it even, and he's living through it. I'm not. Yeah. Haldane is.
He's going to be disappointed when he sleeps at night. That's for sure.
So, needless to say, for you, you still like. So, I guess in order to trigger this condition of feeling haunted and everything like that, your brain is starting to feel like it's playing with you, because it feels like, in addition to this, like I said, the panic attacks are starting, and you feel like you can't breathe, like maybe the fact that it's in your throat, maybe the fact that you can't get it out, it might be the fact that you're, like you just have a lot of shit in this area right now.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm bleeding out. I'm bleeding out the ear. I'm biting down on this thing, trying to puke. There's a lot going on. I get that. Yeah.
You feel like you're drowning, and
Yes.
Brent, you re-enter the scene. You kind of come out there kicking at the water, trying to make sure none of the eels are eating you, and you see Jeff. How do you describe yourself in your current
I don't
state?
see that. What I see is me slamming the thing shut, taking my helmet off, and then getting to the intercom and saying that he should blow the ballast. Now I plugged the holes.
Oh, okay, good. So you hear that,
and then I'll try and help Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, I've probably looked better if I had to, like seriously, tears, blood, motor oil, guts, ichor. I'm probably whimpering and screaming and struggling. Yeah. I'm willing to
Okay.
say I've looked better.
Are you like on the ground, kind of just grabbing at this thing as it's trying
Yeah,
to get in? Are you like doubled over? Like, how would you describe it?
I'm probably on the ground. The
Okay.
doubling over fear, probably.
All right.
It doesn't feel like I could pull it out if I doubled over. It feels like it would get purchased. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. So you're doing that. Brent tells the captain, we fixed the ballast. And he's going to basically purge the ballast tank. And you hear, like almost immediately after you tell the captain to do that, you hear like you hear the rush as air is forced into the ballast to kind of get it, to shoot all of the water out and everything like that.
And I'm kind of hoping it crushes the guy. And then as soon as I hear that, or basically I just let off the console and then try to help him however I think I can.
I'm not really sure how quickly subs like surface, but it's gonna be a little bit of a rough ride for you guys for a moment. Because my understanding of ballast tanks is that when you purge them like that, everything tends to go out. So there's at least a small possibility that whatever it was stayed, but usually biologicals that get sucked up into ballast tanks tend to get sent back out to sea whenever they're released.
Or at least crushed with the pressure, hopefully. That's what I was hoping.
Possibly, yeah. It seems like lower worries right now. But so right now you've got Jeff on the ground. What were you trying to do exactly? You were
assess what's going on and then try and help it out of his mouth, I guess, if he still has a hold of it.
Okay. Yeah, it's mostly he's got a hold of it via his teeth, and the blood and everything like that is.
There's probably a wriggly bit that I keep trying to grab onto and slip off of.
Well, I'll see if I can reach in his mouth and pull it out. Is that a combat roll?
Yeah, I think we can make that into a combat roll. You just karate chop him in the face.
I made
it. So why don't you describe to me how you get this thing out of?
Well, I basically like hold his forehead and I kind of reach in and just try and grab it out of his mouth. And I have gloves on, so I'm not as worried about him biting me. And it probably helps me get purchase on the fish.
Okay. Like so gloves are a little bit tacky for grabbing onto stuff.
Yeah. So basically, I grab his face and then kind of like pry his mouth and the fish at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. You managed to just reach in and kind of like somehow managed to like scoop into his mouth with your hand. And Jeff, through the anxiety, through the fear of drowning, through the immense amount of things that are going on in your brain, you instinctively release the pressure at just the time that allows him to just start to yank this thing. It's still fighting back, but
I'm not gentle this time. Like I was gentle with the forceps. I'm not gentle this time.
Yeah, I believe that.
Your face is probably mashed from my hand holding it down to the ground and then just pulling the thing out as hard as I can.
Okay, so with a sickening blood, you're probably a mixture of Jeff's blood, um, ichor from it, oil. Anything else you think would be in there, Jeff? I think that's probably
I think
food.
the second I feel it go out, I probably turn to the side and empty whatever's in my stomach. It probably all comes up.
Old Bjorn's gruel. Are we still connected?
I thought it was Wednesday night. I thought we had meatloaf. I'm kidding. I
Meatloaf.
have no idea.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, stream's still going. Looks like.
Okay. I want to make sure. Okay, so you ripping out. It's still flailing about in your hand and kind of like instinctively seems to wrap around your wrist and attempts to bite into your suit.
I hit it against the wall a couple times in the hopes to kill it.
Okay. Well, I think that's fair. You just kind of like whip it into the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you would a snake. Yeah.
Yeah, bash him up. Yeah.
You know what? That works.
It's a visceral reaction, man. It's a classic fight or flight.
So you were able to whip it into the wall. It seems like between being bitten by Jeff and by getting his head, smashed against the wall, it doesn't seem to take too many strikes, let's say, before it's limp and releases its grip on your hand.
And then I say, I guess let's go to the captain, and I help you out.
Let's close that hatch.
Oh, I did that first. That was the first thing I did. Closed the hatch, sealed it.
Yeah.
Intercom.
I think they're in the engines. I think that's where that one came from. Yeah, we got to go see the captain. I'm just.
By the way, I found what's the guy's name?
Kapowski.
I found Kapowski.
Fucking asshole.
Well, I didn't have to shoot him, which I thought I was going to need to. And then we move. We'll try and move back.
I'm sorry he's dead, especially if it was with the hands of these things. Teeth of these things. Whatever. I'm not fully, Haldane's not fully.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's go.
Whether you were okay with it or not, there's an armor.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you. Yeah, I'm trying to help you back.
I'm stumbling.
Back to navigation.
Spitting. Retching.
It's a few minutes, before you really have the solid surface in order to make your way up to navigation without any trouble. Because obviously, as it's surfacing, it's a little tumultuous to get all the way up there. But of course, as you get back, Bart seems to know that everything is a-okay and greets you, tail wagging, as dogs are nice to do. And I think this is pretty much this is where the end of the adventure happens.
Wait, we lived?
You did live.
Jesus, amazing.
I was trying to kill Jeff. I was really trying to. I'm just kidding, Jeff. I wasn't trying to kill you, but situation.
It wasn't personal. It was a situation. Yeah. It's like I said, man. It's.
However, obviously,
we all get the benzo and die.
Well, I don't know if you get the benzo sub. But that would
you
be
don't.
Weird. No, more what happens is the company just deducts your pay for an unauthorized surfacing and a shortening of the mission because you guys, basically call an SOS and have the company rescue you. So, sorry to say this, but you're not getting as much pay as you expected for this. I believe, weren't you guys both poor for this? Wasn't that the...
Yeah. Save the goddamn sub.
Yeah. You saved the sub. You destroyed your wallets in the process.
We saved the captain.
Jeff,
we saved Bjorn.
And you...
and we saved Bart, which is the most important.
You did. You did save Bart, which is the most important. Well, there we go.
No, nobody wanted anything to happen to Bart.
Fine for heroism. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Exactly.
And that's it. You guys survived Remor 89, wherever it is. I was actually I was thinking that the hard part is with two people. I was trying not to kill you so quickly. If that makes sense. So it's like, I think it's like such a swingy system that you're either like immediately dead or not.
Well, I'm good at combat, which helped me not die a lot.
Because I don't think we had anybody that was good at combat last time.
No, we did not. As a matter of fact, my android was really bad at combat last time.
Android was bad at combat. My scientist was incredibly fearful of combat and tried
Cowardice.
to
He was a coward. Yeah.
And Jeff's Teamster at least lifted boxes.
I tried. Yeah, I tried, but yeah, I was horrible at it. Yeah. And the scientist obviously terrible at combat. Not even that great at intellect, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Well, it's the bonuses that make you okay at it. Like, what's your intellect?
44.
So that's a plus
my best stat.
20. So that's a plus 20 with your.
If I could have applied sophontology better.
Yeah, with your sophontology.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is now you guys get to put 1 for your high score stat.
Hey, my high score is 1.
If we ever play these characters again.
It's true. It's true.
So I'm still taking it, man. I'm still marking it down, and I'm haunted. I've got that marked down too.
I'm playing this character every time from now on until he dies.
Yeah. Anytime somebody says, "Hey, you want to play Mothership?" I'm like, "Great, I got a character already. Let's go."
Next time I'll board Bart so he doesn't have to come into the dangerous situation with me.
Yeah, Bart's safe.
Bart's safe for once. That's fair. That's fair.
It seems awfully irresponsible to bring a dog onto a goddamn submarine.
It's up to you. But truthfully, how was Mothership this time? Do you guys feel like it was okay? I mean, I'll probably get critiques from people that are like, well, you were a little bit too light on the players.
Possibly.
I enjoy Mothership every time we play it.
Yeah.
But my expectations are different because like I said, I don't expect to live really. Like there isn't very much heroism in the game because like you're not good at things. These games are kind of interesting to me because I had a conversation with a friend once that was like, well, I would like to play a game where you just play normal people that things happen to. And like the truth is like those games really involve just running from things a lot if you can. And that's kind of what Mothership does. It's like, oh, can I get away from it? No, I guess I have to fight it and probably lose, or try and be more clever and outsmart it, which I'm not very good at. So that's why I played the soldier this time, so I could shoot things and be good at fighting them.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah,
it worked out. It did work out.
You had some success.
Yeah,
I feel you had some success.
I also said I wasn't doing anything but my skills. I was like, I'm not rolling to fix anything. Screw that.
I blindly wandered around and discovered things.
Swimming, I'll roll
myself into situations.
Swimming, I'll roll athletics for that. Sure.
Well, and I think that the hard part for me is that like, so Mothership, you're right. I mean, it's a weird game where you're like good until you're not good. Like.
And honestly, I think this is one of those games where you need to like leverage the stuff that you're good at. Like when you're fighting the creatures, you should probably say, well, I want to use my sophontology to know what I need to do to the creature to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've studied, I kind of know how these things work because I did study them a little. So this is so you get that bonus, that 20 bonus to like anything that you do. Is probably
or at least as much as you can reasonably.
As much as reasonably. Sure.
And it feels weird because the games like this and games like Fate, like doing that feels like metagaming. But that's really what it encourages. Like Fate, I had years back we played that game with another friend, the Wild West game, where we were using Fate, and he's like, well, you really need to do that. Like you need to force your things into situations to give you bonuses. Mm-hmm. And I really struggled with that then. Like I really had a big problem with it. But I think that's the nature of these games is you really got to kind of force your skill set onto the situations.
Well, yeah, because you've only got a small handful of things that you've picked. And like, I'll be honest, one of the games I tried to metagame. I tried to be like, oh, I'm going to be good at this. And then it never came up.
Right.
It could have later, or had we made different choices, but in the choices that we made and the way things, went, it didn't help. And so this time I'm like, okay, I know it's aliens, so I'm going to be studying aliens to some extent, and I probably could have leaned into that better. And that's, I think, something that playing. But,
I think
you have to. You can't. That's to even have a reasonable chance at succeeding at anything.
Yeah, and with what skills, those like knowledge skills, I think that's the key. Is like, oh, we're rolling combat. Damn it! well, I know how its jaw is hinged, so I can grab it behind the jaw and get it to open its mouth so I can pull it off
Right.
me or something like that.
Oh, I can yell at you. I know where the soft spot is, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of what, again, I think that's one of the things is that, as Brent's saying, you're also trying to find situations in which you create advantage for you. So
Right.
like,
Right.
getting to roll the dice twice helps too. But I mean, again, and the nice thing is that at least with the system, you're going to be rolling dice fewer. I just had a lot of rolls at the end there because you had aliens nipping at your heels.
We were doing
Well,
things we could fail.
There was a lot of stuff going
We
on.
could do.
and we were in a bad situation.
We were being very proactive, which means that you're going to roll more.
Well, and I think that failure was interesting with
stupid.
most of those types of situations. And I think that now that I've at least got a better understanding of how Mothership plays in from like how this game wants you to do it, because this is the Warden's Guide for people that this Warden's Guide kind of gives you some ideas as to how like to move the story forward a little bit differently, because it's horror, so like you're still going to be damaging them, you're still going to be putting people at tactical disadvantages, and they still get to succeed at what they did. So even if you failed your role, you still get to succeed somewhat. So like that's why Brent pulling the thing out, he succeeded in pulling the thing out because you exceeded action, but you were doing damage to him as you did that, which wasn't very much because, like I said, he was a gummy worm apparently.
It was a youngin'. Jeff,
I'm saying that the alcohol that you guys all laughed at me for pouring into my ear was having an effect on the creature.
It was too drunk to hold on.
It might have been, and that's one of those things that you're like it. And the hard part, the hardest part that I was trying to figure out was that, and spoilers for anybody that does play this in the future, is that the basically the thing is that as soon as you get infested, you're supposed to do some sort of medicine, and I was like, what does that look like? I mean, if a parasite gets in your brain, like you have to do brain surgery, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I guess I had the auto med. I forgot about that actually. I remembered I had the scalpel, but I had an auto med.
That might have helped. Yeah. But that was kind of the part that I was struggling with a little bit. But then I just remembered those like videos that you see of like a praying mantis where they stick it in water and the parasite comes crawling out. And I'm like, I think that's what you were trying to do, Jeff, is to create a situation in which it was drowning.
Yeah, that was made it inhospitable in there.
Yeah. I think
better than it crawling to the center of my brainstem and killing me.
Yeah, because what they do is that once you're infected, and the thing that is interesting is that the parasitic entry doesn't seem to do any damage at first. What it does is you have 10 minutes to get medicine, or else you take 1d10 damage and gain a stress every 10 minutes. So
until you lose your mind, like Ivan.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's exactly what's happened. Is that, and during that time when you're under manias, you tend to attack whoever's near you, and you believe you're drowning. So I got that a little bit in there, and I was like, well, it makes sense that as you bit down on it, it was releasing some of its toxins into your.
Sure. No. Yeah. No. All of that part was fine. Yeah, I was fine with all that stuff.
And it was interesting. It was interesting to me when I actually looked up how parasites do it. They just release a variety of chemicals into the brain, and they get you to feel the way that they want you to.
Yeah,
like,
you just don't.
Cordyceps
you're either numb or don't care. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, but it's amazing to me, like how all that shit works. It's creepy as shit, honestly.
Jeff has the intellect devourer brain. It's the one that you'll go after.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Yeah, me too. They give me the willies. Yeah, I'm not happy with parasites.
Yeah.
No, it was creepy. Like it was creepy. It's an enclosed space that feels even more enclosed when you're being chased or stalked or aren't sure what's around the next corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I was having.
Well, it's that normal person thing, right? Like this. What does a normal person do? They usually run away from it. What can't you do on a submarine? Get away from anything.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Agile still says, I have mixed emotions about this game. I do too. I feel like
Mike, yeah.
I ran this just because I wanted to kind of get a better understanding of it, because there are parts of it I do really like because we also played Cloud Empress, which is a hack of Mothership, and there's a lot of hacks of Mothership out there right now for people that have kind of stylized it in a way that they really like. And I think the core principles of the game I mean, they're super fast to pick up, super easy to play. Not a lot of crunch in so much. But when the dice start rolling, that's when people start dying. So um, that's the hard part is that if you want to be heroic in this, your heroism comes in your ending effectively.
Your heroism comes at a pretty big price.
Yeah. No, even if you survive, there's a toll.
Yeah. And to say that like you can't tell the kind of stories that you can tell in Mothership with other systems, I don't think that's the case. I think you could use other systems, but I don't think that they're as light as this and as emphasis.
Yeah, no, exactly. I would say Mothership is good for running any story. I would say that doesn't mean that you can't run Mothership stories in another system. Yeah. Very easily you could use other systems.
Because I mean, we're about to play using Death in Space in the next maybe month or so at our home table, and which is very similar. Truckers. Yeah. And we also played Alien, which was fun. Similar space trucker type game. So just different feels. But I like the panics. I like how panic worked in Alien a little bit better than it does in this one. And this one, you just like if you panic and then roll a 20, you just retire the character. They're just done.
Right, they just die or freak out or
they just turn into a bowl of mush.
Yeah. For sure, you could use other systems depending on the game. Like what I think the strength of Mothership and why people really like it is it's easy to play whatever game you want, and it's a fairly simple system.
Yeah, it's pretty light and agile.
There's not a lot of bells and whistles.
Yeah. So.
There is side note, since you said pigs in space, there is a Space Truckers movie that has square pigs in it. That's what they're hauling. They're hauling cubicle pigs so they fit cube pigs so they fit in the cages.
Oh, nice! They genetically engineered them that way to
more
it's got fit in the cargo.
It's got Dennis Hopper in it even.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, so there's a movie suggestion for everybody: Space Truckers. Literally, that's the name of the movie, Space Truckers. Have you seen it, Mike?
I think I remember seeing the movie like when I was in Hastings, just going through every.
It isn't great, but if you want a funny B movie to watch,
it isn't great.
It works. It's got Dennis Hopper in it. Like,
I just watched Dennis Creature Hopper. Commandos. You recommended that to watch it because you thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
and Creature Commandos is really high praise, so I just gave it a try.
Creature Commandos is really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I thought it was really good too. I was surprised at how deep it got in certain parts. So
it's pretty depressing in some episodes.
Yeah, but like the Weasel, man.
Yeah, with Weasel's pretty sad, but like and GI Robot seemed sad, but he was super happy. Friend Nina, we got to kill Nazis together.
Yeah,
this is one of my favorite lines in the entire show. My other favorite line is Dr. Phosphorus when he punches that guy's head through that guy's head and goes, "Oh, I really like that guy too."
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, needless to say, I mean, I at least liked, Agile. I don't know if there's ever a way to know if somebody's going to like a game until you really dig into it a lot. But I picked up the box, just because I at least believe enough of the principles behind Mothership that
he'll just sit it on his shelf and like shake his fist at it occasionally. You Mothership.
I don't know. I like Cloud Empress.
Did you get the regular box or the big box, Mike?
I don't know what that means. I got the only box that I could buy locally. Okay. It wasn't a storage box.
The other one doesn't come in a box. The other one's just the 2 pamphlets in shrink wrap. So he got the box with the Game Masters. The Game Masters.
Yeah.
Shield. What is that called?
The screen.
Game Master screen. Yeah. Why did that word just totally lose?
Which, I mean, if you're interested, everything. I mean, the aesthetic of Mothership is also pretty cool. Like this would be a really fun screen to pull out during game night if you were playing in person, which we're not doing. But this is the screen right here for people that want to see.
Warden screen.
Yeah. Ooh, looks pretty cool. I mean, I like it just because it's got some really depressing art on it, but
I kind of like the art.
And And the companion app looks like it's getting a lot of improvements, even though right now it's only for iOS and Android. I wish they would have it on PC personally, if I were to say something about that. But it's got map making stuff, a virtual tabletop that they're doing, and I think they've got a few things with it. It's just for having it on the phone though, like.
Oh, and the character sheets didn't work for us in Roll20.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like that was for 0E and it hasn't been updated in a long time.
Right. Yeah.
So.
But
That was the wife. She says you need help with something, so I'm gonna have to.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night. We will talk
Thanks, everybody.
soon.
We hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope you at least enjoyed this rendition of Alone in the Deep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's good. You did good. We'll talk about it more later. Have a good night, everybody.